Captain's Log, subdate 200401.7. Today I received my weekly food shopping, which was delivered via blobfish transport. All of the items on my order were replacements, and not one item was edible. I'm going to attempt to get the replicators up and running before I am forced to ingest spoons with a side of flavoured Johnnies. Welcome everyone to the very first This Week at Twitter, or to give it its proper acronym, TWAT. I originally got the idea from my friend Benny, who did a series called This Week in Tumblr, and formerly there was a channel called Reels Before Feels that did in fact try starting this series, but the guy stopped making content at the end of, I think, 2015. So I figured, well, it's been long enough. Time for me to have a bit of fun with it, because Twitter's become even more cancerous. I just need to know how to be less of a boomer and how to find more stuff that's funny on Twitter. If, by the way, you have something funny, tag me on it. I'll have a look, and try not to choke too hard when I laugh. I have a number of subjects I want to cover, the entire point being, there it is, Twitter, cancer, social media, let's all have a laugh. And of course get a bit annoyed with some things. The first one we're going to cover is a video I'm not going to show you, but it is linked via Undoom's tweet. In the video that he has connected, there is a lady in her underwear with bright yellow hair who gets close to the camera and starts smearing, let's say, tomato ketchup on her face after rummaging her hands through her pantry. I hope I've painted a good enough picture like she did her face. I don't know if the video is a PO or not, or if it is meant to be art or not. If it is a PO, congratulations, you freaked me out. It's pretty grim. I guess it's only a matter of time before we see a man do something similar but glue his face together. And in truth, if real, well, it's quite the damning statement, isn't it? Oof. The reason I want to address this one first is because I'm on the fence with it. If it is a PO, it's a really grim one. If it's not a PO, it's really grim. If you want to check the video out, it's archive linked down below. Next, I want to talk about Rose of Dawn. Rose of Dawn is a trans YouTuber who ran a charity event to raise money. Pretty reasonable, and very grown up in fact. The intention was to help feed people. She managed to raise almost $4 grand for this. And what did she get as a response? I have no idea who Drusilla is, and I'm not going to judge on appearance, but I'm sure all of you will. But this kind of comment, for something that is supposed to help people, is incredibly stupid, although it's not a tweet in and of itself. Because Rose put it out as a tweet, I'm using that as the, let's say, excuse for me to point at Drusilla and say that is disgusting. Almost as disgusting as rummaging through underwear to pull out ketchup. Or is it catsup? I don't know. Might I suggest to you, Drusilla, instead of encouraging people to contract something we've yet to get a cure for, might I suggest you do something like what Rose has done, which has benefited people because $4 grand goes a long way. It helps a lot of people, and Rose should be celebrated for what she did, not chastised because transphobia? That's strange. Next, I want to talk about Richard Bergen. Who is Richard Bergen? He is the, challenging person, MP, for the deputy leader of the Labour Party. And he's been very vocal as of late. Now, the Labour leadership is going to be announced on the 4th. Exciting stuff, since no one's going to know much about it beyond what they hear in the news. If they're lucky, it might make the front page instead of the natty ice virus. Richard Bergen is very opinionated, and his more recent gripe has been at number 10, over its Trump-style attempt to divert blame from the UK government's failure, even though we all know China is lying. We all know China is. Business is resuming as if nothing happened, and part of me thought, and I posited it last night on Twitch, streaming there again tonight, by the way, link below, that it was because they want to get ahead of the curve, and if their production was up, everyone would be clamouring for some of those fresh Chinese supplies. A World Health Organization report says China rolled out perhaps the most ambitious, agile and aggressive disease containment effort in history. Yes, they did build a hospital quite fast, but they're also known to have locked down an entire city and forced them to stay there, some places having bars put across the windows to stop them getting out, many of whom died of starvation. The same place, in fact, that recently rioted. And let's not forget here, the World Health Organization once said the natty ice virus was not contagious for other humans. I don't know if I want to take the WHO at their word or not, and why you would use them as a benchmark to kinda defend China is astonishing. Many have railed the UK government and said they didn't act quick enough or weren't prepared for it. First of all, how do you prepare for something you had a 2-month handicap on? And second, the government didn't have to act. They showed faith in this country to make the right decision. The country didn't make the right decision, so the government had to act. And of course we weren't prepared for it. How do you prepare for anything that you cannot truly explain or understand? We are now getting on top of it, and the government is finally getting ahead of it. Instead of finding an excuse to assign blame, which is a weakness in your own character, Richard Bergen, why don't you do what everyone else, and I'm not even joking, literally everyone else is doing? Work with the government to achieve something, get results, and I believe save lives by protecting the NHS. Assigning blame is too early. By that same stretch, I should rail on the government for doing the same. But the context in the article isn't quite what everyone thinks. But we'll get to that another time. Next, I want to talk about Mia, who put out this tweet, a joke tweet. March to end COVID-19, well done everyone, amazing turnout. It didn't take a rocket scientist to know since the country was in lockdown that this was a joke. And I'm sure many people saw it as a joke. It's unfortunate that many did not, though. When they retweeted it as anything but a joke and took it seriously, I believe natural selection was a common comment, along with those that not only liked it, but also went on to comment on her boyfriend's, Will Enney, who is a content creator, semi-known I think, with having a massive square head, who also put out the exact same tweet. But people still liked it, some got the joke, but many did not, which is astonishing. And I should say, granted there are some things you shouldn't make fun of, but this was an obvious joke. If you couldn't tell that, and are then railing on them, who's the real idiot? The country's in lockdown. The only gatherings you're going to see are those who are too stupid to walk and have smushed themselves on the tube with other people. With this same theme of comments with regards to the natty ice virus, we should also talk about the texts people have received. Most people received a text message from the government recommending they stay indoors. You received one text message. But some people put out this as if this was legit. That is not real, okay? And those that think it is real, you're deluded. It is not. We all got one. Not one that showed the government was watching us, and I've covered this in a video on my political channel today. The police do have powers, but they don't have the powers to go and text you by counting how many times you've been out of your house. If you believe this, you are gullible. Next, rent is theft, profit is theft, interest is theft. Look, it isn't complicated. If you're making money that didn't come from your own labour, then it is coming from someone else's labour. You are stealing their money. So everyone should turn to prostitution? Cool. Thanks for the contribution. I'm guessing also roads are bad as well. I'm going to move on to some evangelicals, because I saw the video courtesy of a tweet, and I think the video is very funny. So I'm going to play a clip of it.
In the name of Jesus.
Oh, thank you, Jesus.
Standing in the office of the prophet of God, I execute judgment on you, COVID-19.
Oh.
I execute judgment on you, Satan, you destroyer, you killer. You get out. We break your power. You get off this nation. I demand judgment on you. I demand a vaccination to come immediately.
Yes.
It is over, and the United States of America is healed.
Glorious! You guys are going first when I take over. The final tweet I want to cover is this, which on the face of it is fairly innocuous. Means nothing really, does it? But there's something to this. You see, this isn't his tweet. No, this belongs to this guy, with the only change he made being the emoji. Might I just say, to you, Oprah side Clark, plagiarism is, well, not very classy. Maybe you did it as a sign of support, but I'm not sure what kind of support you can gain from, well, at best, just lightening the emoji skin and copying verbatim what somebody else tweeted out 30 minutes before you. Oof. Might I recommend not being such a thief? As I'm done here, I'd love to know what you think, and whether or not you enjoy this. If you'd like me to do more of these, please do let me know, because I'd like to do more kind of series videos. I think they work. Format helps as well. If you have a tweet you believe I would find amusing, link it in the comments down below or tag me on Twitter with it. I would greatly appreciate it because I'm a boomer on Twitter, in most things I think. Anyway, if I don't see you on Twitch tonight for Plague Inc. Evolved, I hope you'll have a fantastic 10th day of quarantine, and thank you all for listening.